Welcome, Alex, to Metalladium Pages. It's a great pleasure to talk with you about October Tide. Well, this upcoming Latin tour here next month. So obviously, in more things related to the metal world, obviously for the last album also. So we are starting by asking. So how are you? How are you? How was the band during the last year? Because your previous album, The Cancer Plague, was released a year ago.
Yes, I think it was released on 1st of October last year.
Mm-hmm.
So when we come to you guys, it will be exactly 1 year. The album has been out.
Mm-hmm. Okay, okay. So
Yeah,
how was the band during the last year?
it has been good. It has been pretty calm. We have done some touring, some shows during the year. We started out when we released the album uh, with a 2 week tour in Europe, and then it has been pretty calm actually. Uh, not many shows this summer, and that's something I'm not used to, you know, because it used to be some festivals and stuff.
Mhm. Okay. Okay, and so
But
talking about from these new canceled plates, how was the reception of the album last year for this album, the reviews, the fans, etc. So do you have time to read reviews at that moment for this new album?
yeah, it has been really good, and I always read the fans' comments, which song they like the best and stuff like that. And it's very spread out. People have different favorite songs from the album, so I think that the album in its entirety is pretty good. It's a good October Tide album, and the reception has been very good actually.
Okay, awesome, awesome to know that. Awesome to know that, Alex. And for this topic, so we are talking about now. We are talking about a little more about this upcoming Latin tour. So this is your first time here in Latin America when like at a full tour here. So what kind of expectations do you have for each country, for this? And I know that you perhaps remember a lot of people say musicians from Europe say that the South American Latin American people are very passionate. Did you still waiting? Will you expect this kind of passionate when you hear when you present here?
Yeah. That's the expectation, because always I have never played in Latin America ever with any band. I think Matthias and Fredrik has been there a couple of times with Catatonia, I think.
Mhm.
But the rest of the band has never been there, so we don't know anything. It's a great honor and pleasure to have this coming up. And every time you post something in social media or something, it's always people from Latin America, come here, please. We want you to play. So it's really nice to finally do it.
Mm. Okay, so as this is the first Latin tour here, this is the first Latin tour. So how will you prepare a set list here? Because as you know, October Tide never was played here. So this is the first time. So how will you prepare the set list with the old songs, with the new songs? Because nobody see you live here.
Yeah, it will be a big mixture of the classic ones, the and the new ones that we like. So it will be a big, from the first album to the last, we will present everything on this tour. So we put in a lot of time and effort to set the set list uh, to to give you what you want.
Mm, okay, okay. So,
And I hope people will like it.
okay, okay. Well, that's I hope also too. So, other detail that's commonly normal. Perhaps you hear when your upcoming Latin tour is very close. You can see a lot of flyers, a lot of plans, a lot of bands playing like acting support bands for you in each country in each gig. So do you have time to hear any of these bands that will support your presentation in each country?
Yeah, I have had some, a conversation with uh, w one of the bands that wanted to play but didn't didn't they couldn't do it for some reason. And when you have time, you try to listen to everything, so uh, you know what's going on and what bands uh, that we are going to play with, of course. And I will try to find it's one band that I like very much.
Mhm.
Umbra, you know them?
Okay, okay, yeah, yeah, I know Umbra.
Yeah. His name is Alejandro. He's very nice guy from uh, I don't remember what country he's from, but we are texting each other all the time.
Mm. Okay, okay, I understand. So now, and related with these kind of topics of the bands, perhaps do you have any special requests to play with some bands here in Latin America?
No, I haven't thought that far actually. Uh, I think I hope I don't know. I haven't thought about that.
Okay. Okay, okay, don't worry, don't worry, don't worry. So let's focus more a little more about this new Cancer pledge because it was released last year. So in this case, when the band started to compose this new album, it was at the end of the Splendor Below, or perhaps it was on. Perhaps do you did you perhaps you rescue some songs from that era from the below from the Splendor Below. So when do you start writing songs for this for the last album?
Mostly it's Frederick Norman who writes most of the melodies and riffs, and it's continuous work. He sends out songs like through the entire uh, process, and I try to write lyrics to his melodies, and it's a process that may take like 2 years or something.
Mhm.
So as soon as In Splendor Below finished, he started writing material for the new album, and you need to have this uh, what's the word in English? Inspiration, uh, and you never know when it comes. So it's a pretty long process. I think it's 3 years between every album we have made together, me and Frederick. But the writing is all the time. As soon as you get an idea, we put it down and try it. Uh, I think Frederick started to write the new album right after we released Cancer Pledge.
Mhm. Okay. Into the lineup changes that the band has during the last 10 years, you entered to the band in 2012. So then you decided to record with October Tide more albums. So how was your entry into the band at that moment, and how was changed your perspective since you are an outsider person from the October time at that moment, and now you are an insider. So how many things change from outsider and insider member?
Yeah, it was a pretty special journey, if you can explain it like that, because I'm from the I had only done, like brutal technical death metal stuff, with Volturion and Spasmodic and bands like that. And all of a sudden, Frederick thought that I would be a good vocalist for October. And I actually said no. When they asked me the first time, I said no, this is too slow and it's too much melodies for me. Um, but when they asked me the second time or the third time, I said, well, let's give it a try. So I went and just uh, did the vocals on one rehearsal, and everything was really working out. And then after a while, I started to understand the music, you know. Uh, Now I feel like a part of it, and I'm very happy that I'm a part of October because the songwriting that Frederick does is amazing.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. So, okay, other more constant that you mentioned a few seconds ago that you was playing with Volturion, a death metal band from Sweden, and now you are playing with a death metal band. For you, how many things changed when you were in a death metal band? Because the guttural are more deeper or more strong in a death metal band. But in a doom metal band, the growls are more dense or more harder in that way. So for you,
Yes,
how many things change for you the compositions in the vocal area since your perspective?
yeah. The biggest change is that you don't have to be perfect all the time. That mistakes can actually be good. If you sing in a really technical death metal band, you want it to be, extremely guttural all the time. But when you sing with October Tide, you want to hear the feelings. You want to hear the words, in the right way. So when we were recording Tunnel of No Light, Fredrik told me, uh, he said, you are singing it too good. You need to relax and make it more passionate,
Yeah.
because I was like, "Oh, oh, 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 oh." But he was like, no, don't say the words like a machine. You like talk the words.
Mm.
So that was the biggest change, that it's good if you're not perfect all the time. It's even better if you make some mistakes that wasn't planned, uh, or even sing with a bad voice sometime, uh, because you want to, uh, 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 you know the listener should hear your pain, and you cannot be perfect in that
Mm.
case.
So
Yeah,
in these kind of things, are you was in charge or were you was in charge of the composition of the lyrics of the Cancer Place of the last two albums that you participate, or
yeah.
perhaps it was work from Fredrik with you?
Tunnel of No Light and Wing Waltz is mainly, other people writing lyrics, and I think Jonas Renkse wrote a couple of songs, and Joa from Swallow the Sun, I think, wrote one song, and Frederick made the composition of the words, the arrangement of everything. But after two albums, I felt like, well, maybe I should try it, and in Splendor Below and the Cancer Pledge album, I wrote everything and made the arrangement because I started to really understand the music. I think it turned out really good, and me and Frederick works really good together.
Okay, I understand. Well, according to a lot of people, so I know that I know that when you release the news that you will play here in Latin America, a lot of people said, "Hey, play Rain without N or Great Dawn," or perhaps the I don't, or perhaps the tour manager said, "Could you?" Because I hear that, and I hear in the previous and other bands that the tour manager requests just play the two first albums entirely for the people wants to know because there's two albums that the people most want to hear live. That's normally because I always
Yeah,
live.
yeah.
I will be there. So how do you see this aspect compared to the new October Tide sound? Because that era it's very different from new one.
Yeah, yeah. And it's like recently we were on a tour in Finland, made 3 shows there, and it was pretty clear that there's like two different fans. Uh, the ones who only want to hear the old stuff, and the ones who recently discovered October Tide and really, really like the new stuff. So I can understand because October Tide now doesn't sound anything like October Tide did in the 90s. Um, but I think we made a pretty good set list, so I think people will be satisfied.
Okay, yeah, well, yeah. Well, we are very close to this interview, Alex, and for this topic. So, for you, what kind of plans the band has after the tour of Latin America? Perhaps you will do more tours. Perhaps you will present videos because October is not a band that like play completely a full moon tour, a full moon tour. This kind of is play like special dates. So for you, what kind of plans you have is in general for October Tide after the Latin American tour?
After the Latin America tour, we are going to play in Turkey. And we actually had a show in Bulgaria, but it got canceled for some reason. I don't know. But I think it's 2 shows in Turkey, and then it's some. No, I don't remember. I'm sorry. But it's a couple of shows right after in November. And then we are still planning to do, I think, maybe a tour in 2025. And hopefully we will get some shows during the festival summer next summer. And continue working on the next album.
Mm. Okay. Okay. Other detail that I mentioned a few seconds ago now also is why the band don't have or why the band doesn't have full tour gigs or full month tours because it's uncommon to see like this upcoming Latin American tour that will you have 5 or 6 days in a row. It's very difficult to the band to see that aspect. So why the band always just presenting special dates or no presenting with full tours?
That's because we have normal jobs actually
Mm.
and families. Uh, all the guys in the band are working this during the weeks, like 9 to 5 works. And when we go on tour, we need to take vacation from work, which means less time with our families. Everybody in the band has kids, and the drummer and bass player, they have really small kids, so they don't want to be away from their families and work for like more than maybe 2 weeks or something like that. So we try to keep it like you know we 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 do the shows that we want to do, if you understand what I mean.
Mm.
Like, we don't have to go on tour, we don't have to do this. We can say yes to what we want to play, and say no to the things that now it will take too much from my private life. Uh, these 5 shows in Latin America is, perfect tour for us because we don't have to take so much time from our normal jobs.
Okay, I understand perfectly. Yeah, it's completely normal that happen now that the bands now has a lot of job outside of the band, outside of
Yeah,
the band.
exactly.
Okay,
And it's hard to make it work.
yeah, yeah, and those and these times that's a common thing because you have first job, families, and then the band now. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
complete. I understand perfectly. Well, Alex, the sad moment arrived at this interview. I hope you enjoyed this interview like me. Thank you very much for your time. It was a pleasure to have you today on the website. So perhaps do you want to add something to your Latin American fans that expect the Latin tour in 2 weeks, 2 weeks from now. So perhaps do you want to add something to them and obviously Methalarium followers.
Yeah, I really hope you will not be disappointed in our choice of songs, and you will hear uh, everything, something from every album, and I hope we picked out the right one for you. And it's a great honor for us that we have the possibility to come and play for you in your country. And yeah, I hope it will be a great time for everybody.